I'm Felicia,
And I'm Ian.
and we are the Paranormal Lovers.
Hello, paranormal dudes, dudettes, and dudes. Welcome back to another episode of the Paranormal Lovers.
Hey guys,
Hey, guys.
thanks for joining us for another episode, number 152.
Wow.
Yeah, we're almost to season 4. Now let me do some quick maths real quick. Yep.
Oh, God, what is
sorry. There was a noise out. Oh, what did you do?
I lost my earphone.
There we go.
That's better.
4 more episodes and we'll be at season 4.
What noise did you hear?
I think it was like a weed eater or something out there.
Let us know how you like the ambiance.
We got the window
We
open.
have the window open. So
we're back this week with a look at another super secret government program that most people probably have not heard of until the last decade or so.
Oh boy.
And is largely part of why we are in the mess we are in this country today. But before we get into that, what did you love about this week, Bill?
This week,
oh, come on, that should be so easy.
I like Safety Week.
Oh, well, that's nice.
At work.
I was thinking about yesterday.
Safety Week. I also liked yesterday. Got to ride my bike in the woods, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, him and Patty took their e-bikes out to the woods and went riding.
Dirty.
He did. He got his white bike dirty.
We kept having to dodge mud puddles.
Mm-hmm. Don't want to take an e-bike through a mud puddle.
Ton of them up there.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, it's been raining off and on for the last few weeks, which is nice.
It's a place called Wayahutta.
Wayahutta.
But like locals have called it everything under the moon. Like,
yeah.
We always called it Worry Hut, but it's spelled Wayahutta. So
all right.
I think maybe a little bit of Cherokee
probably
naming there, but
especially since it's out in Cullowhee. I think Judicole's Rock is out there.
Or colonizers' interpretation of Cherokee, which is a lot of names around here done that, which is like, come on, y'all. Like, if you're gonna do it, name it in the actual like Cherokee language and just put the language on there, like they did Cherokee.
Right.
And then you can like learn.
I don't think Cherokee is what they call themselves, though.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what they call themselves.
Are they Dene?
No, that's the Navajo.
Gotcha.
The Navajo call themselves the Dene. Navajo is a colonizer name.
Right.
I will be talking about that one next week. Right. So
we should find out. We should figure out what the Cherokee are in their own language.
I heard about it somewhere at some point in time, but yeah, definitely have to look into that again. Because I know like the Lake Junaluska, that was not his name.
Right.
It's supposedly named after a Cherokee chief. Junaluska was not his name. That's just what people called him because white people.
And so I was the type of person who thought like differently a while before I met my wife. But now that I've met my wife, my world views on things have changed. And so now, like, instead of thinking, oh, well, no, they need to learn, they need to learn English and they need to speak our language and blah, 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 blah. No, I don't think like that now. Like, I want to learn other cultures' languages so that I can communicate with them properly instead. Because, it's a free fucking country and that's what we should do.
And like, y'all, this is the only country that takes so much damn pride in being a mono-linguistic culture.
Right.
Like other cultures, people are routinely learning 2 or 3 languages as they grow up.
There's a place in the, Philippines where they have like thousands of different languages.
I mean, because you go to other countries and there's thousands of different languages because people speak their own language.
It's like so many different islands that like each island has their own language.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is cool. Like that makes it interesting in my eyes.
Yeah.
So, um, but what did you love about this week?
I love Patty's friend's mom, my
Yeah.
Tanner Banana. If she ever
Nice.
listens to this,
What's up, Tanner?
that woman is a godsend.
What's up, Matt?
Y'all know I love my daughter, but here's the thing. One, we're both Libras, but we're on like opposite ends of the Libra spectrum.
Yeah.
I'm a September Libra, she's an October Libra. Balls. Also, I am a sensory avoidant autistic. She is a sensory seeking ADHD. And so being stuck at home with her over the summer, and I'm trying to rest and recuperate from like being burnt out for the last year.
Yeah.
So when she was like, "You want to go to Santa's Land?" and I was like, I got an appointment. You want to take her? You want to take her? You guys want to have a sleepover?
Is that a cat or is it Patty returning?
No, Patty's not here.
Okay.
No, I messaged her earlier and we're talking about time, so she shouldn't be here.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just thankful to have other moms that are willing to step in and take my kid for me.
Hey, it takes a village.
It does take a village, and I have a very small village.
Well, it's hard nowadays having a village because, like, just culture is so much different now.
It is. People had a village when, like,
community concentric
moms were staying at home making hot dog jello, on drugs.
You could literally walk around and ride your bike outside. Now you can't even do that because the roads are so fucking busy.
Yeah, and you just never know who might come up on your kid or something.
It's true. There's so many people in the world now. There's more people. It's
a lot more people.
It's harder to navigate that community.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, into today's story. Recently, I've taken up the stance that part of the problem with the US and humanity as a whole is that the Confederacy was not punished hard enough for wanting to keep slaves and fighting against emancipation. But years later, after World War II, the US government wanted those best and brightest minds from Germany and the Nazi Party, so they began Operation Paperclip.
Oh boy.
This operation,
I know a little bit about this one.
This operation ran from 1945 to 1959, and some 1,600 scientists and engineers and technicians were brought from former Nazi Germany to the US to work for our federal government.
Jesus, I didn't know they had that many.
Oh, they had a lot. That's just the ones we brought over here and kept.
Right.
Many of these men were confirmed to have been members of the Nazi Party, including members of the SS and the SA.
Man, there's no wonder we got like neo-Nazis nowadays.
It's all connected, folks.
Yeah.
And no one can convince me that bringing over 1,000 white supremacists into this country did not create a problem that we are still fighting today.
Yeah.
That was my next line.
Right.
Like, you can't convince me that didn't have a drastic effect on this country.
I mean, when you said 1,600, that was the first thing that ran across my mind. I'm like, God dang. Like,
right. They come over.
One thing it was like one or two, like,
yeah,
people, but like
1,600.
Like, not all of them are gonna be good. I'm sure some of them were good that wanted to leave, but
yeah,
not all of them.
Oh no, they weren't. And trust me, they weren't just going after those.
Right.
So how do we get here? Well, it began in earnest in February of 1945 when the Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force, or SHAF, set up T-Force. This was a joint operation between the US and British armies to, quote, secure German scientific and industrial technology before it could be destroyed by retreating German forces or looters during the final stages of the Second World War and its aftermath, end quote. This special section subdivision would grow to over 2,000 employees in just 4 or 5 months. They were also tasked with looking at 5,000 German targets who had experience or expertise in everything from synthetic rubber, V-2 rockets, field radios, and even gliders. And they would get their information from the Combined Intelligence Objective Subcommittee.
Wow, it looks like that played a big part in the space race too.
Oh, I'll get to it.
That's crazy.
I will get to it. As Allied forces marched on in April of 1945, they began to run across large numbers of German scientists. These men were taken to the enemy personnel exploitation section where they would be interrogated. They would be taken first to Camp Dustbin, located outside of Paris, before it was moved to Kranzberg Castle outside of Frankfurt. The first secret recruitment program was formed by the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff on July 19, 1945. Dubbed Operation Overcast, it was established to, quote, assist in shortening the Japanese war and to aid in post-war military research, end quote. It would be later in the summer when a subcommittee of the Joint Intelligence Community, the JIOA, was formed to oversee Operation Overcast and later Operation Paperclip. Representatives of the JIOA included the Army's Director of Intelligence and a representative of the State Department. The name change from Overcast to Paperclip happened in November of 1945 for one simple reason. Ordnance Corps officers would place a paperclip on the file of experts they wished to recruit to work for the U.S. government. While the U.S. government wanted the scientists for themselves, more so they wanted to keep the scientists out of the hands of neutral or even enemies. President Truman officially approved the operation on September 3rd, 1946, and added another 1,000 German scientists who would be put under, quote, temporary limited military custody, end quote. On April 26, 1946, General Eisenhower received Directive JCS 1067-14. This directive came from the Joint Chiefs of Staffs and ordered him to, quote, preserve from destruction and take under your control records, plans, books, documents, papers, files, and scientific, industrial, and other information and data belonging to German organizations engaged in military research, and that accepting war criminals, German scientists should be detained for intelligence purposes as required, end quote. Late in the Second World War, Germany was struggling with defeat from the USSR and the Caucasus. In early 1943, the German government began to pull scientists, engineers, and technicians from combat to work in research and development for yet another war with the USSR. Werner Ozenberg was tasked with making a list of names of scientists to be recalled. Thus, the Ozenberg list was born and would be found in pieces in a toilet at Bonn University.
We tried to flush it.
This list made its way to MI6, who handed the list over to the U.S. government. It was then handed over to U.S. Army Major Robert B. Staver, who used it to complete his list of scientists to be captured and interrogated. He did. He tried to flush it. You got to do a courtesy flush to make sure all the pieces go down, though. That's where he fucked up. But by May 22nd, 1945, his goal of interrogation had changed to bringing scientists here to help in fighting the Pacific War. On that day, he sent a telegram to Colonel Joe Holmes urging for 100 of the 400 scientists they had captured to be sent to the U.S. Management of a select group of rocketeers came under the control of the Joint Chiefs on July 19, 1945. In November of the same year, the name change. Nope. In November of the same year, the name Camp Overcast began to be known locally, so the name was changed to Operation Paperclip. Werner von Braun, Germany's best rocket scientist, and over 1,000 of his fellows surrendered to the Americans. This was a calculated decision, as told by one engineer who put it like this, quote, We despise the French. We are morally afraid of the Soviets. We do not believe the British can afford us, so that leaves the Americans. End quote. Project Safe Haven would take off in 1945 to kidnap German scientists to make sure they did not flee to a country that was an enemy to the US, aka the Soviet. As July came, the Soviets advanced through the country towards Saxony and Thuringia, where many personnel had been evacuated to. So the US began a quote unquote evacuation operation, sending out orders to the scientists such as this quote, on orders of military government, you are to report with your family and baggage as much as you can carry tomorrow noon at 1300 hours at the town square in Bitterfield. There is no need to bring winter clothing. Easily carried possessions such as family documents, jewelry, and the like should be taken along. You will be transported by motor vehicle to the nearest railway station. From there, you will travel to the west. Please tell the bearer of this letter how large your family is. End quote.
Hmm.
Within 2 years, roughly 1,800 personnel and 3,700 family members had taken up this offer.
Jeez.
Let's see. So, if you got 1,600 personnel, they got a wife and 2 kids, that's a lot more. That's like 5,000 racist ass white people.
Right.
Yeah, damn. Those who were skilled or knowledgeable were taken to detention centers where they would be held and interrogated, sometimes for months. A few were pulled into Operation Overcast, but most of them were sent to villages out in the countryside where there were no research facilities and no work for them to do. They were given an allowance and required to report twice a week to the police headquarters to keep them from leaving. In fact, the Joint Chiefs of Staff let it be known they could only leave once, quote, only after all interested agencies were satisfied that all desired intelligence information had been obtained from them, end quote.
So they brought a bunch of people and didn't give them anything to do.
Just hang out. Just hang out
All right.
out here in the village. On November 5th, 1947, a conference was held by the Office of Military Government, U.S. This conference was to take a look at the evacuees, checking their status, considering monetary claims they had made against the U.S. and possible war crimes by the U.S. A program to resettle the scientists was initiated by Robert Walsh, but was never actually carried out. In 1948, the evacuees won a settlement from the U.S. government for 69.5 million Reichmarks. But this would be a short lived victory as a currency reform was underway and the Deutschmark was made the official currency of West Germany. So here's $69.5 million of a currency that no longer
Exists. Damn.
Damn. So, who were some of the best and brightest Germany had to offer? Well, in May of 1945, the U.S. Navy took custody of Herbert A. Wagner, the inventor of the HS 293 missile. In September of 1945, the first group of 7 rocket scientists arrived on Long Island. Werner von Braun, Erich von Neuberg, Theodore A. Poppel, William August Schussel, Schusley, Eberhard Rees, Wilhelm Jungart, and Walter, I'm not even trying that one, Schwadetsky. Around this time, 3 groups of rocket scientists arrived at Fort Bliss in Texas as quote unquote War Department special employees. In 1946, 7 German synthetic fuel scientists were recruited by the U.S. Bureau of Mines at Fisher Tropish chemical plant in Louisiana, Missouri. A new Ordnance Rocket Center was designated on July 1st, 1949 in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh boy.
The Redstone Arsenal facility. You remember yesterday how I was like, I'm going to talk about this one place that's, some scientists work at. I was telling you about the Sinisterhood Freaky Friday episode. Somebody wrote in their loved one works at this place.
Right.
The Redstone Arsenal was facility for rockets research and development, and on April 1st, 1950, von Braun and his team of over 130 paperclip personnel were transferred to Redstone Arsenal. And we wonder why Alabama is the way it is. Starting in
Huntsville's like, don't they have a JPL out there in the Jet Propulsion Laboratory there? I think it's Huntsville, Alabama.
I'll kind of get into it. Starting in early 1950, legal U.S. residency was granted to some members of Project Paperclip, with their paperwork being put through the U.S. consulate in Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico. This showed the scientists had come through Latin America to enter the U.S.
Well,
sneaky little bastards.
Don't tell ICE.
Oh, they ain't going after them.
Right.
Between 1945 and 1952, the U.S. Air Force sponsored 260 to immigrate to the U.S. 36 of those returned to Germany and one moved to Argentina.
I bet it was easier for them to immigrate than it is now.
Way much easier. In 1959, 94 more men were brought to the U.S. under Operation Paperclip.
They just stamped their book and was like, "You're good."
Throughout this operation that lasted until the 1990s,
wow.
Operation Paperclip, quote, imported 1,600 men as part of the intellectual reparations owed to the U.S. and the U.K., valued at U.S. $10 billion in patents and industrial processes, end quote. Intellectual reparations.
All right.
The fuck? We never got our goddamn 40 acres and a mule, but you get some damn intellectual reparations for $10 billion?
What the hell?
It would not take long for these scientists to begin receiving awards for their work. In 1969, 4 members of Paperclip were awarded the NASA Distinguished Service Medal, which is the highest award given by NASA. A 5th man would be given the award in 1973. In 1966, the U.S. Department of Defense awarded Siegfried Niemer was awarded the Department of Defense Distinguished Civilian Award. Between 1961 and 1984, 3 members of Operation Paperclip were awarded the Goddard Astronautics Award, which is the highest honor given by the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. Quite a few members of Paperclip were members of the Space Camp Hall of Fame at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. And 2 Paperclip members were also added to the International Space Hall of Fame at the New Mexico Museum of Space History. There are also 2 craters on the moon named after 2 of the Nazis.
Wow.
So what really came from these quote-unquote immigrations to the U.S.? With notable figures like Wernher von Braun, the creator of the V2 rocket, quite a bit actually. Take the Marshall Space Flight Center at Redstone Arsenal in Alabama. Established by NASA in July of 1960, the Marshall Space Center, this was a bit of a love child of von Braun's, who was obsessed with getting into space. He would be the first director of the MSFC. There were also 118 other members of Operation Paperclip who came to work at the Marshall Space Center. The V2 rocket was originally built in Germany under von Braun, and they were used in the Second World War to attack several places, including Paris and the port of Antwerp. It is estimated some 9,000 people died due to these attacks. When production had to be moved to a new location, slave labor was brought in from Dora, a nearby concentration camp. The first V2 test fire in the U.S. took place in March of 1946 in New Mexico, followed by the launch of a captured rocket a month later. Months later, a missile was fired in the White Sands Proving Ground in New Mexico that broke a record with an altitude of 116 miles or 187 kilometers.
Wow.
Quote, known as V2 sounding rockets, they were used to test the effects of cosmic rays on fruit flies and seeds. They also took the first pictures of Earth from 100 miles or 160 kilometers in the air, high enough to show the curvature of the planet, because it's a ball, y'all, not flat, and test G-forces on various monkeys.
Oh, no.
End quote. I hate what we did to animals in the space race.
Yeah.
The MSFC was one of 3 institutes that were instrumental in the Apollo missions.
Nice.
This center was perfect for the program as it had all the facilities to research rocketry, aeroastrodynamics, space sciences, and manufacturing, just to name a few. Everything they needed for this program was already there from their work making rockets and missiles. It would be the same technology they would use to make those weapons fly that they would use to create the Saturn rocket line.
Wow.
The German Nazis created the Saturn rockets, y'all.
Yeah. Or at least the engines that, pushed them.
The launch vehicles and some of the launching facilities at Cape Canaveral were also made in collaboration with American and German scientists during this time.
Wow. I've actually seen those engines.
Well, this was the launch vehicle and some of the launching facilities.
Yeah.
So, yes, these people came over and made amazing achievements in science, but we cannot forget where they came from and who they previously worked for. Though several of the Paperclip scientists had ties to the Nazi Party, none of them would be found guilty of any crime in the US or in Germany, though that doesn't mean they didn't commit any.
Yeah, I mean, they made rockets.
Hello. Hello. And that's it, folks. These people and their descendants still walk among us today, and I doubt their ideas have changed that much. So, Bill, what do you think of Operation Paperclip?
Definitely don't have as much respect for NASA as I used to, but that's because of a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kinda sketchy, you know? Is it really any surprise that, like, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are so into space too?
No.
When you learn that, like, the whole Saturn rocket line was made by a bunch of fucking Nazis.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that sucks. The Saturn rocket's my favorite rocket. I
Yeah.
got a picture of her on the wall.
Yeah. Nazis.
Wow.
Nazis. So we're gonna leave it up, though, and look at it. Every time we look at it, we're gonna be like, "Nazis.
Yeah.
Nazis." Mm. Yeah, I don't think I'll be going to Huntsville anytime soon.
Yeah.
Don't think I will. I ain't lost nothing there. Home of
Right.
the Nazis. I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, friends. Well, thanks for being here with us today. We hope you found this episode enlightening, and not terrifying, because I'm a little terrified, honestly. It's a
Right.
lot of fucking Nazis just running around and having babies in this country, and then their babies had babies, and at this point, they got, like, great-grandchildren running around.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right, guys. Well, we hope you have a good week, and we will see you guys later.
Be kind to each other.
Love you. Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.